Hello and welcome to What's on the Shelf. I'm your host Jen, and today it's Manga Monday. It's the first of the month. It is
Yeah!
July. Oh my god, I can't believe we're already 7 months into this year. It does not feel that way.
Yeah, right? I was realizing that too, and I was like, damn, we're already midway through summer.
I know, it's ridiculous. Um, so yeah. I didn't get too much manga reading this month. I had planned to, because we had two like 3 day weekends, but I ended up getting, well, one lost in the woods, and then two,
Mm.
ending up sunbathing and becoming slightly lobster.
You can match your hair now.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, and for me in the 3 days weekend, I actually worked on some projects for my own channels and stuff. So
Hmm.
I'm focused on that more than reading. So I didn't read that much, but I got some time to read that anyway, and I finished a book just before this. So actually pretty good.
Okay. Sorry about the noise. We might have interruptions of dogs as well. So, what was the first thing you read this month?
The first thing I read this month was actually Flying Me to the Moon, because the most recent one came out recently. So I mentioned it a bit in another episode before. It's a story about a girl and a boy who meets on the street. The boy immediately to ask the girl out, even if he doesn't know anything about her, not even her name, and then gets hit by a truck. And she agrees that she will go out with him if he marries her. So this is how the story starts.
Okay.
It's a super wholesome story. I really love it. And there's a special episode coming out for the show. It's this summer, so the season one is already over, and they're adding a little extra to it. So
Okay.
I'm really looking forward to reading it. It's honestly been one of my favorites. I think it's volume 5 that came out most recently. Yeah,
Okay.
and 6 and 7 are coming out soon as well. So if you're looking for a slice of life romantic comedy, highly recommend this one.
Gotcha. So I read Bad and Night.
Mm-hmm.
It's this lovely book here.
Oh, pretty.
Yes,
Oh, it's Hatsune Miku.
it's very pretty. Very interesting because it's kind of like horror, but not really. You're not sure yet. Like the first book is very like, we're going to be innocent and we're going to like explain how this works, and then they just kind of drop you into the universe, and you're like, oh shit. So, oops.
Yeah. I'm glad you read this one because I've been really curious about it. So now I know that what kind of book it is a little bit.
Yeah, no, it's definitely very interesting, and it got a little confusing at one point just because there's so many interconnecting parts.
Hmm.
But once you get to the end, you're like, oh, it makes sense now.
It's one of those.
Yeah, exactly. So that was something I ended up reading. That's for next month.
All right. I also was able to catch up on Apothecary's Diary,
Mm-hmm.
which I know already you know is one of my favorites since it came out. And I recommend it to a lot of people. And someone read it recently, and he said that it's really not the kind of book he's going to read normally, but he also really loved it. The fact that it's in a different country completely, with a different culture, and the main character, she's so awesome. She's that girl who's smart and she knows it, and she's going to keep reminding you through all three books so far. And there's this one guy who keeps trying to seduce her
Oh
in the book,
no.
and every time she looks at him with disgust and he loves it, but he doesn't understand why hates him. It's just perfect. When you get to read it in English, you have to.
Yes, once we get in English. So I finally read Yakuza Lover.
Yay!
Oh my god, this was so good.
You liked it?
I loved it. I'm like, I need
Do you
more
agree
of
though that
this.
it went from 0 to 100 really quick?
Kind of, but I kind of get it at the same
Mm,
time. Like, he's living this edgy, dangerous life. He doesn't know when he's gonna get killed, right? So,
yeah.
might as well live in the moment.
I think I got more into it after like chapter 1 and 2 because I felt at first that it was quick, but then I was like, okay, I like the story, I like the characters, let's keep going.
Like, I'd love to have more backstory on, it's Oa, I think his name is?
You mean the main character?
Yeah, the guy, the main character.
Yeah. I have the book next to me, but
because it's
Um.
Yuri and Owa is the guy's
Mhm.
name. Like, I'd like to get more backstory on him. Like, why is he the way he is? And then, like, well, same thing with her. Like, I'd like to just have more background story on both of them.
Yeah, that's the thing that I feel is was missing as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's kind of a little bit difficult to get attached to the character as much when they don't have a backstory.
Mm-hmm.
But I love the art style and I loved what the story has brought so far. So I'm looking forward to the second one that's coming out.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's coming out like in a month or so.
Yeah.
For other things I read, I think I marked this one as last month, but I did reread it,
Mhm.
which is Manly Appetite. It's super cute. It's just a light office BL, and like they're
Yeah.
just so adorable together. And it's only 3 books long, and I'm like, where are the other two? Why are they not here yet?
Yeah.
Come on,
Oh
translators,
no.
get on it.
Yeah, that's an issue I have. I have lots of series I want to start, but they're not translated yet, and sometimes the scans are not like very well translated. I know
Mm-hmm.
they do their best, but sometimes you read a sentence and it doesn't translate well, sorry, from Japanese to English. So you
Mm-hmm.
need someone to actually adapt the meaning, and it doesn't happen all the time.
So
But
what
yeah,
was the next one you read this month?
I read Fantasy Lazy Life in French, and someone was recommended to me. I was walking by it all the time, but it looked like your generic etchy book.
Mm-hmm.
But I read it, and I really really loved it. I just finished it, and it was actually really really wholesome. So it's the story of a guy who's your basic office worker. So he gets to work. He doesn't really care about his work, but he's doing it well, and he takes it proudly. And then he's being summoned by a queen in another world, and she asks him to marry her.
Okay.
And he senses that maybe something is weird because he was the one summoned, why him of all people? And she tells him that basically one of his ancestors was a king of the country who moved to his world to run away, and he has his bloodline, and also he's pretty good with numbers, which is she discovers eventually. So he's gonna become the kingdom's accountant. uh yeah, he does their taxes and everything, and he's just living his best life. So before that, she gives him a month to prepare, and then he moves to the other world, and he has nothing to do. She's like, "I'm gonna do all the stuff. I'm the queen. You can do whatever you want. You can stay home and play video games. That's perfect," because she doesn't want a guy getting in her way. So it's just, but they both agree on it. So he doesn't want to do much. She doesn't want him to do much. So they have a perfect relationship, and I love it. So that was a really wholesome read, and I can't wait to read everything else.
Awesome. Did you read anything else this month?
Yeah, I already started the Magic the Gathering comic books
Ah.
that started to come out, I think, a month ago. I got one, two, three, but I only got to read the first one so far. And while the art style inside the book isn't my favorite, the story is really great for anyone who likes Magic the Gathering. You have like your planeswalker that you finally see in a story,
Okay.
and you have these hidden planeswalker covers that are amazing. I want to put them in top loaders and put them on my walls. I'm gonna wait until I'm a bit further before I talk a bit more about it, because it's hard for comic books to not spoil anything when they're so thin. So I'm
Yeah,
gonna
that's
gonna
very
wait a
true.
bit. When
Uh,
I've read 1 to 4, I'm gonna talk about it a bit more.
well, talking about comics, I finished the first arc of Sunstone. I cried like a
Mm-hmm.
baby at the end of book
Aww.
4. I was so mad at the characters. I'm like, communicate. um, what was the other one that I read? Paper Trade. Swing. I read book 1 and 2. I need to read book 3 and 4 still. I picked up and started reading the Many Deaths of Lilo Star. Supposedly it's really good. I love the cover art. Like that's what drew me to the story.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so at this point, I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna wait until because it's only five issues. So the next
Yeah.
issue I think comes out next month or something like that. Like I have it on my list of ongoing stuff. The same thing with the Dune series and Witchblood. I think was the other two that I have.
Mm. I really
Um,
want to get the Agretsuko ones. Do you know Agretsuko?
you need to give me a title.
It's called Agretsuko.
Okay.
Agretsuko. And it was on Netflix. It's a show about a little, I think she's a red panda or
Oh
raccoon
yes, the
character.
angry office one.
Yes!
Okay,
The
okay.
show is super good, and I know there's the comics, and I really want to pick them up eventually.
Well,
I really enjoyed that one.
I know the paper trade ones are out. I think they're still
Mm-hmm.
doing single issues too.
Yeah.
Also at the same time, what was the other one? There's Sweet Paprika that is coming out. That is also the same person who did Mercy and Unnatural. I can't wait. It looks
Mm.
super good. Like she's a badass like woman in the office, and then there's a lazy angel that kind of falls in love with her, and you're like, what's going on?
You see, that I love these kind of stories. Like a lazy fantasy life is kind of like that too. It's like the badass queen who can rule, and the guy who's love her, and he's just like, I'm just gonna watch you rule.
Mm-hmm.
It's just cute.
So I will definitely follow up on those ones. And I
Yeah.
love that particular like author and artist. Like I've essentially picked up I think everything he's published or she I can't remember if it's he or she that's done right now.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's really awesome when you find one author that you really like and just keep looking forward for more.
oh, I'm horrible when it comes to books that way. Like this is why I have a library in my garage now. Is because like I fall in love with an author and I'm like I'm just gonna buy everything, like just
Yeah.
Amazon cart. Let's go. Like I started it's the Wiccan Villain series. It's the adult Disney books.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting. Not for everyone, especially if you don't want your childhood ruined.
Yeah. No, I know. I've heard about them, but I haven't picked them up. But there's one author that I keep waiting for, which you probably could be interested because she's the only yaoi artist that I've been following, actually.
Okay.
Have you read Fluff for the Flight List?
No, I have not.
So this has been one of my favorite books when I started working in the library. The author is called Haggy,
Mm-hmm.
and she's doing very sweet and short, one short stories.
Okay.
But they're really, really good, and her art style is completely amazing. I can probably let you borrow it if you want. She's an amazing artist. Highly
Yes,
recommend.
for sure. I will definitely take you up on that once I have a day to read. Hopefully Thursday. Thursday is like I think my dedicated just I need to sit and cuddle and read day this
Yeah.
week. Um but as for stuff for next month, did you have any others for this month that you wanted to talk
Uh,
about?
well, I didn't read anything else, but I watched Godzilla Singular Point on Netflix, the recent anime.
Okay.
And I spent some time watching that during my 3 days off, and honestly, it was pretty good. I'm not a fan of CGI in this show in general, because sometimes it turns out a little bit weird, it stands out too much.
Mm-hmm.
But I really like the story, so if anyone's a Godzilla fan, there's lots of references to the older ones, which is pretty awesome.
That is pretty cool. So for next month, I've got quite a pile of shame. I'm just gonna admit that at this point, like I've got 3 4 shelves of shame at this point
mm,
that I'm like I keep buying and I need to read. I need to
yeah.
find time to read at some point.
Like I've
Um,
shortened my list for next month because I'm like I'm gonna try to be a little bit more realistic with the time I have.
well, see, the issue is I've got so many books that I'm reading or that I want to read that like I've got actual books like text
Mhm.
based ones that I'm
Yeah.
reading. Um,
Same.
like what was the current one I'm reading? It's called Sugar Daddies. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. I will not show the cover because it will be too embarrassing and probably not PG, but it's hilarious so
You
far.
shall send me a picture of that cover.
Sure, I'll Facebook you the picture and be like, see why I didn't want to send the image. Um,
uh,
and like I also have like I picked up all the rest of the Wicked Villain series.
mhm.
So like the next story, like I read Jasmine and Jafar. Um, the next one is Hercules and Meg. Like what ends up with them in this version,
Mhm.
and it's all set in more modern day like scenarios. It's not back in like the
Mm.
actual like locations that they're from, like Greek or Greece or whatever.
Yeah.
What was the other one I picked up recently too? There was another whole series that I just picked up. Um, Fever Dream, I think it was called.
I think you talked to me about this one.
It's
I, I,
essentially um, this woman is trying to be a supernatural hunter, I believe. I might be getting the synopsis wrong. I might come back to this next month and be like, I totally read the title wrong and everything wrong.
well, once you've read it, let us know what do you think about it.
Yeah, for sure. So, essentially, it's her. It's a reverse harem trying to figure out how to outsmart the Queen of the Fae,
Oh, nice.
because she somehow got like looped into like some kind of contract or something.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was the one that I was reading. And then manga wise for me, I've got book 3 and 4 of Beast and the Witch and the Beast.
Nice.
That I
Yeah, I've seen it
definitely.
pop up.
Well, it's finally coming out in French as well. So
Mm-hmm.
I've definitely been talking to people at work about it a lot more. Rent a Girlfriend 2.
I need to read those.
I'm still waiting for book 3 to come in. I have book 1, 2, 4, 6, 4, 5, 6.
I think we should write an adventure of Jen's adventures to get English books.
How troublesome can Jen be when making a list of books? I mean, it's not like I have a list of special orders.
I'm gonna have one, but I'm gonna need to ask you soon. Yeah, we're gonna talk about it later.
That's fine. I have also Tales of Outcasts.
Yeah, I saw it.
Which
Looks interesting.
really good.
Yeah.
Love Me Not was another one.
Mm-hmm.
It looked very interesting. What was this one? This one I might not show the cover because it's a little risque. It's mature content.
Show me.
So it's also still in shrink wrap.
Oh, I know which one. You don't need to show more. This one, what at some point in the store, it was like the cover, like face front, so everyone walking by could see it, and I couldn't stop but giggling every time. Like, I'm a child, I love to go to people who are browsing hentai and asking them if they need help. Mm-hmm. But yeah, this one was quite entertaining.
Well, it's not exactly a hentai. It's mature content.
Yeah, no, so, I know, but yeah.
But it's you can fill in the blanks.
Yeah, like it's showing without showing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I was looking for like a new yaoi to read because like we haven't gotten much in English, so I'm like, oh, yeah. I'll just pick something off the shelf and see what we've got. I've got Star Crossed is another one on my list.
Yeah.
I read the first one, haven't read the second one yet. And then this was another one I picked up because it had cats in the title and it looked adorable.
Is it the yeah, I know. I picked it up too. Yep.
Like,
I need to read it.
The White Cat's Revenge as plotted from the Dragon King's lap. How cannot that not sound amazing?
I know, right?
And like,
sounds so cute.
The cats are adorable looking in this. Like, they're all like white and little bow ties, and like I'm half expecting the chick to be the cat.
Oh, did you read the cat bar one?
I still haven't read it.
Okay. Now, this one is a one shot. So this one, once you read it, there's no volume 2. So you don't have to go hunt for them.
But yeah, that was my pile of continuing shame of stuff to read. So what do you have planned for this month?
Well, someone gave me one of the light novels for the Monogatari series, which I had been wanting to read for a long time. So I read the Bakemonogatari mangas, not all the way through, but I read some of them. Mm-hmm. And the light novels are apparently more in-depth about the Japanese folklore links between the story and the Japanese folklore. So this one I'm really looking forward to read. Mm-hmm. But in mangas, I have shortened my list a little bit with the time I have. So of course I really want to read Yoshino Zuikara 3, which came out recently. So this one I've been recommending to everyone. It's about a manga artist who dreams of becoming famous manga artist who have a big success with one of his series, and he keeps writing isekais, so guys being reincarnated in other worlds.
Mm-hmm.
And one day his manager calls him and is like, "Hey, try something else. Why not try to write a slice of life?" So
Mm-hmm.
he lives on a small island, and now he's like, "Well, I have to go out, and I don't like to meet people." But that's his story of him building his story and basing it on his on his life when he was younger, and it's just really sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Then I want to read Strawberry Fields once again. This one is a Yuri that I've been curious about for a little while actually, but the third one just came out and it just looks really cute. I don't know much about it, however, but I've been interested in it.
Well, wasn't
And
there a first one? Like there was Strawberry Fields, and now there's Strawberry Fields once again. Is the second
y-
arc?
yeah, I think there's something like this. I have to
Mm-hmm.
find like which order to read them, and I have to find the books, which is the other part of
Mm-hmm.
it. And again, in from another Yuri artist, from the same person who did Bloom into You.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Farewell to My Altar.
Mm-hmm.
So there's been lots of really good comments about it, and it's a compilation of lots of short stories.
Hmm.
So it's not one big story, but apparently it's really, really good. So I've been wanting to give it a try.
Well,
And then, yeah.
no, well, with Clamp having its anniversary and stuff like that too, I've got like the Magic Knight Ray Earth that I want to eventually open. I'm hesitant to open it because it looks so pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
they're hardcover, they're gorgeous looking, and I'm like, I bought it to read, not to just sit in plastic.
Not to display.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, one last one that I plan to read is in French. It's called Otome Game, but in English, it's mostly known as My Next Life as a Villainess. All routes lead to doom. Sorry, that was
Ah,
hard to read.
that's why I was
Uh,
having such a hard time trying to find it.
yeah, I was trying to remember what the name in English was, but I just remembered the short version in French. So there's an anime for this one, and I heard season 2 was coming out, so I thought, why not just give it a shot at the books? But we don't have the first one in stock right now, so I'm gonna have to wait a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But I was curious. I was told that I look a little bit like the main character by someone, so I'm just like, well, now I have to read it.
Yeah, because when
And
I
of yeah,
no, because when I went to look up the image, it brings up like not just the manga, but like the anime, the like
mm,
there's several different incarnations of the book too. There's also a mobile game, and I was like, which one is the image I'm supposed to look up? Because I'm not sure.
yeah, there's a lot of stuff about it. There's also figurines and sorry, I was trying to find something, but yeah, there's also a lot of figurines and stuff. So yeah, it has a big pile of picture. I know it's been pretty popular, so why not? And of course, I'm still waiting for a Kaiju Girl Caramelize, the girl who transforms into a kaiju. I need to read that one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really excited for us to get the first one. And I
Um,
think that's it.
yeah, that I think that wraps up our June going into July manga reading. We should have a best top 10 in December.
Yeah, let's do this. I'm up for it.
We'll be like number 10 this book.
We should do the Manga Mondays nominations.
That could work too. Well, do we want to
Yeah,
have nominations, or do we want to have our nominations and then have people vote on who wins?
yeah, sure. Let's make a vote.
Okay, that sounds
Let's
good.
let's get everyone in.
All right. Well, I think that ends this episode of Manga Monday. And we'll catch you fine folks at a later date and time. I'm hoping to have more constant projects going again, live streaming. So stay tuned for Wednesday because it's unboxing day and I've got way too much shelf of shame in
Ooh.
board games as well. Is there anything else you want to pitch before we close for the evening?
Well, I'm gonna probably start streaming this weekend, not on Friday, but maybe Sunday or the day before. I'm not 100% sure. Just still trying to figure out what time I'm gonna be available. But I want to start streaming some games on Twitch. So
Woo!
if people wanna go find me there, it's at Dizzy Oddities.
Yep, you can catch her link up above on the screen. It should be there. So we'll catch you fine folks next time at the table. Have a good evening, all.
Bye.